I still remember the sound of laughter echoing through the phone that autumn afternoon. Cruel, mocking laughter that made my blood run cold. It was Marcus's mother, Helen, calling from what she claimed was a family gathering. "Jessica, darling," she cooed, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "We're all here at the estate, celebrating. You know, celebrating the fact that Marcus finally came to his senses and left you. We never thought he'd have the backbone to dump someone so beneath him." My hands trembled as I held the phone. 3 months. It had been 3 months since Marcus walked out of our apartment, leaving nothing but a note saying he needed space and that our relationship had been a mistake from the start. "I don't understand why you're calling me," I managed to say, my voice barely above a whisper. "Oh, we just wanted to share the good news. Marcus is engaged now. To Vanessa Whitmore, you know, the daughter of the Whitmore banking family. Someone actually worthy of our family name. We thought you should know that he's moved on to someone of proper breeding and class." The line went dead, but I could still hear their laughter ringing in my ears. I looked down at the 3 sleeping faces in the playpen beside my desk: Olivia, Noah, and Emma. My beautiful triplets, just 4 months old, with Marcus's distinctive green eyes and dark hair. The children he didn't know existed. The children I'd discovered I was carrying 2 weeks after he abandoned me. I had tried to tell him. God knows I'd tried. I'd called, texted, emailed, but he'd blocked me everywhere. When I'd gone to his office, security had escorted me out. His assistant had looked at me with pity and said, "Mr. Ashford has made it clear he wants no contact with you. Please don't make this harder than it needs to be." So I'd faced the pregnancy alone. Through the morning sickness that lasted all day, through the terrifying diagnosis of a high-risk triplet pregnancy, through the bed rest and the emergency C-section at 34 weeks. I'd done it all without him, working from home as a freelance graphic designer, barely scraping by. But I'd survived. We'd survived. And now they were mocking me. I picked up my phone and stared at the unknown number Helen had called from. My finger hovered over the delete button, but something stopped me. A voice in my head, my grandmother's voice actually, whispered, "Sometimes, Jessica, the universe hands you an opportunity for justice. Don't waste it." I'd spent 3 months being the victim, being the abandoned single mother, crying myself to sleep while my babies needed me. But that ended today. I opened my laptop and pulled up the folder I'd been too heartbroken to look at before. Evidence. I'd been collecting it without even realizing it, like a squirrel gathering nuts for winter. There were the screenshots of Marcus's social media from before he blocked me, showing him at parties and clubs while I was pregnant, his arms around various women. There were the messages from his friends that I'd accidentally been copied on, talking about his freedom and how he'd dodged a bullet. But the real treasure was something I'd found completely by accident. 2 months ago, I'd received an email from Marcus's business partner, David Chen, clearly meant for someone else. It contained financial documents showing that Marcus and his family had been embezzling money from their company's charitable foundation, a foundation that claimed to support underprivileged children, ironically enough. Millions of dollars, funneled into offshore accounts. I'd immediately sent the email back to David, telling him he'd sent it to the wrong person. He'd called me, panicked, begging me not to say anything. I told him I wanted nothing to do with Marcus or his family and to please leave me alone. But I'd kept copies, just in case. Now, staring at those sleeping babies, I realized what "just in case" meant. The next call came 2 days later. This time it was Marcus himself. "Jessica," he said, his voice carrying that same condescending tone that had once made me feel small. "My mother tells me she spoke with you. I want to make something clear. You need to stop trying to contact my family. It's pathetic and embarrassing for everyone involved." I took a deep breath. "Marcus, I have something to tell you. I don't care what you have to say. We're done. We've been done. Move on with your life. You have children." The silence on the other end was deafening. "What?" "Triplets. Olivia, Noah, and Emma. They're 4 months old. They have your eyes, your hair, your stubborn chin. They're beautiful, Marcus. And they're yours." I could hear his breathing, rapid and panicked. "You're lying. This is some kind of desperate ploy to—" "I have birth certificates. I have DNA that matches yours from that toothbrush you left behind. I have hospital records. I tried to tell you, Marcus. For weeks after you left, I tried. You blocked me everywhere. You had security throw me out of your office building. So I did this alone. But they exist, whether you want to believe it or not." Another long pause. Then, "I'll need proof. Paternity tests. I'm not taking your word for anything." "Fine, but there's something else you should know. Your family called me to mock me. Your mother specifically called to tell me how beneath you I was, how you were engaged to someone worthy of your family name. That's just how my mother is. She meant every word. And I'm done being disrespected by people who don't even know me. So here's what's going to happen. Your family is having a gathering this weekend, yes? Some kind of engagement party for you and Vanessa? How did you know that? Your mother mentioned it when she called to humiliate me. I want an invitation. For me and my children. Your children. Marcus laughed, sharp and bitter. You can't be serious. You want to show up at my engagement party with 3 babies claiming they're mine? That's insane. No, Marcus. What's insane is abandoning your pregnant girlfriend and then having your family call her to mock her. What's insane is getting engaged to someone else while your children sleep in a cramped apartment without their father. What's insane is thinking you can just pretend none of this happened. Jessica, be reasonable. I'm done being reasonable. I'm done being the understanding ex-girlfriend who quietly goes away. You want to get married and play happy family with Vanessa Whitmore? Fine. But first, you're going to face what you left behind. Send me the invitation. Saturday at 7, right? At your family estate? And if I don't? I smiled, even though he couldn't see it. Then I'll send those financial documents about your family's charitable foundation embezzlement scheme to the FBI, the IRS, and every major news outlet in the state. Your choice. The silence this time was even longer. When Marcus finally spoke, his voice was cold. You're blackmailing me. No, I'm giving you an opportunity to do the right thing. See you Saturday, Marcus. I hung up before he could respond. My hands were shaking, but this time it wasn't from fear or sadness. It was anticipation. Saturday arrived faster than I expected. I'd spent the week preparing, shopping for the first time in months for something other than diapers and baby food. I bought a dress, a stunning emerald green number that hugged my post-pregnancy curves and made my hazel eyes pop. I got my hair done, my nails done. I hired a baby nurse to help me with the triplets for the evening. When the car service I'd splurged on pulled up to the Ashford estate at exactly 7 p.m., I took a deep breath. The triplets were dressed in matching outfits. Olivia in a tiny green dress, Noah and Emma in little suits. They looked perfect. Ready? I whispered to them, even though they couldn't understand. Time to meet your other family. The door was answered by a butler, who looked at me and the 3 baby carriers with barely concealed shock. Jessica Hammond, I said clearly. I'm expected. He stammered something and disappeared, leaving us in the foyer. The house was exactly as I remembered from the one time Marcus had brought me here before his family made their disapproval clear. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, oil paintings of stern-looking ancestors. Old money practically oozed from the walls. I could hear voices and laughter from the ballroom down the hall. The party was in full swing. Marcus appeared first, his face pale, eyes wide as he took in the sight of me and the 3 babies. Behind him came his mother Helen, his father Richard, and finally Vanessa Whitmore herself, a tall, elegant blonde in a white dress that probably cost more than my rent for 6 months. What is the meaning of this? Helen demanded, but her voice wavered when she saw the babies. I set the carriers down carefully and straightened up, meeting her eyes. Hello, Helen, Richard, Marcus, and you must be Vanessa. I'm Jessica. And these, I gestured to the triplets, are Olivia, Noah, and Emma Ashford, Marcus's children. The color drained from Vanessa's face. Marcus? What is she talking about? Marcus looked like he wanted the floor to swallow him whole. Vanessa, I can explain. Can you? I interrupted, my voice calm and clear. Can you explain how you abandoned me while I was pregnant with your children? Can you explain how you blocked me from every form of communication when I tried to tell you? Can you explain how your mother called me just days ago to mock me and tell me how beneath your family I was? This is preposterous, Richard blustered. Young lady, you can't just show up here with these claims. I pulled out my phone. I have birth certificates listing Marcus as the father. I have hospital records from my high-risk pregnancy. I have the toothbrush Marcus left at my apartment with his DNA on it, should you want to run a paternity test. I have screenshots of messages between Marcus and his friends discussing his freedom while I was pregnant and alone. I have everything documented. By now, guests were starting to peek out from the ballroom, drawn by the commotion. Marcus, tell her to leave, Helen hissed. This is inappropriate. Inappropriate? I laughed, and it felt good. What's inappropriate is calling a woman you've never tried to know to mock her for being abandoned. What's inappropriate is throwing an engagement party for your son while his 4-month-old children struggle with their single mother. What's inappropriate is treating people as beneath you because they don't have a trust fund. I picked up Olivia from her carrier, holding her against my shoulder. She'd woken up and was making soft cooing sounds. This is your granddaughter, Helen, and those are your grandsons, Noah and Emma. They have the Ashford eyes, the Ashford chin. They're your blood, whether you like it or not. Vanessa was staring at Marcus, tears running down her perfect makeup. You got someone pregnant and didn't tell me? We've been together for 6 months, Marcus. 6 months of you lying to me? Vanessa, I didn't know. Marcus started. That's a lie, I said firmly. I tried to tell you, Marcus. I have the call logs, the texts, the emails, all time-stamped from 3 months ago when I first found out. You chose not to know. There's a difference. More guests were filing out now, their faces a mixture of shock and curiosity. I recognized several, Marcus's business associates, family friends, society people whose opinions mattered in their world. Perfect. And there's more, I continued, my voice carrying across the foyer. Should we talk about the Ashford Children's Foundation? The one your family uses for tax breaks and good publicity? The one that's supposed to help underprivileged kids but seems to have millions of dollars going somewhere else? Richard's face went from red to purple. You have no idea what you're talking about, don't I? Because I have financial documents showing quite clearly where that money has been going. Offshore accounts, personal expenses, everything except helping children. It's amazing what accidentally gets sent to the wrong email address sometimes. Helen grabbed my arm, her fingers digging in painfully. You listen to me, you little— Let go of her, a voice said firmly. We all turned to see Vanessa stepping forward. Let go of her right now, Mrs. Ashford. Helen released me, shocked. Vanessa looked at me, then at the babies, then at Marcus. Is it true? All of it? I nodded. Every word. She pulled her engagement ring off her finger and threw it at Marcus. It bounced off his chest and clattered onto the marble floor. We're done. My father will be very interested to hear about those financial irregularities, by the way. The Whitmore family has invested quite a bit in Ashford Enterprises. I'm sure he'll want to ensure his money isn't being mismanaged. She walked past all of us, head held high, and out the door. The room erupted in whispers. Guests were pulling out phones, no doubt already texting their friends about the scandal unfolding before them. Marcus looked at me with something like hatred in his eyes. You've destroyed everything. No, I said, setting Olivia back in her carrier. I've simply revealed what was already there. You destroyed everything the moment you walked away from your responsibilities. You destroyed everything when you chose to pretend I didn't exist. This? I gestured around us. This is just consequences. I looked at the 3 babies, then back at the Ashford family. I didn't come here for your money or your acceptance. I came here because I'm done being invisible. I'm done being the woman you all pretended didn't exist. These children deserve better than that. They deserve a father who acknowledges them. They deserve grandparents who don't call their mother to mock her. I picked up the carriers, preparing to leave. The paternity test appointment is scheduled for Tuesday at 10 a.m. at Mercy General Hospital. Be there, Marcus, or don't. Either way, I'm filing for child support next week. Your lawyers can fight it if they want, but the DNA doesn't lie. I turned to face Helen one last time. You called me beneath your family, but the truth is, I'm the one who's been holding things together while your son ran away from his responsibilities. I'm the one who worked through my pregnancy to pay my bills. I'm the one who's been getting up every 3 hours to feed 3 babies while your son partied and got engaged to someone else. So tell me, Helen, who's really beneath whom here? I walked toward the door, my head held high, my children secure in their carriers. Wait, Marcus called out. I stopped, but didn't turn around. What do you want from me? I looked back at him over my shoulder. I want you to be their father. That's all I've ever wanted, but I won't beg for it anymore. The choice is yours, Marcus. Choose wisely this time. I walked out into the cool evening air, leaving chaos behind me. The car was waiting, and the driver helped me load the babies. As we pulled away from the estate, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Power. Control over my own narrative. My phone buzzed. It was a text from an unknown number. This is David Chen. I don't know what you said to the Ashfords tonight, but Marcus just called me in a panic. Thank you for not exposing the foundation issue. If you need anything at all for those babies, please let me know. I've been wanting to come clean about the embezzlement for months, but was too afraid. Maybe it's time. Would you be willing to meet? I smiled and typed back, Tuesday. Same hospital as the paternity test. 2 p.m. Bring your evidence, I'll bring mine. Time to do the right thing. As the car drove through the city streets, I looked down at my 3 sleeping children. Your daddy might figure out how to be a father, I whispered to them. Or he might not. But either way, you 3 are going to know you're loved. You're going to know your worth. And nobody is ever going to make you feel beneath them. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. The paternity test confirmed what we all knew. Marcus was the father. The tabloids got hold of the story, and the Ashford family's perfect image crumbled under the weight of scandal. David Chen and I met with the FBI, turning over all the evidence of the foundation embezzlement. The investigation that followed led to charges against Richard and Helen Ashford. Marcus, to his credit, showed up at my apartment 1 week after the party. He looked different, humbled somehow. "Can I meet them?" he asked quietly. "Really meet them?" I let him in and watched as he held each of his children for the first time, tears streaming down his face. "I'm so sorry," he kept saying. "Jessica, I'm so sorry." "Sorry doesn't change the past," I told him. "But showing up now, that's a start." He looked up at me, holding Noah against his chest. "I'll do right by them, by all of you. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want to be their father, really be their father." I nodded. "Then prove it. Not with money or grand gestures. Prove it by showing up, every day, even when it's hard, even when it's boring, even when you're tired." "I will," he promised. And surprisingly, he did. It took time, but Marcus became a real father to our children. We worked out custody arrangements. He paid child support without complaint. He showed up for doctor's appointments and sleepless nights. His engagement to Vanessa was obviously over, but interestingly, she and I became unlikely friends. She called me a month after the party to apologize for any role she'd played in the situation and to thank me for exposing the truth. "You saved me from making a terrible mistake," she said, "and you did it with more grace than I would have managed." The Ashford family fell from their pedestal. Richard and Helen faced fraud charges. The society world that had once courted them now whispered behind their backs. But my triplets thrived. They grew strong and healthy, surrounded by love. From me, from Marcus, who was learning, from David Chen, who became an unexpected uncle figure, and even from Vanessa, who sent the most thoughtful birthday gifts. Looking back on that night when I walked into the Ashford estate with my 3 babies, I don't regret a single moment. I didn't destroy anything that wasn't already broken. I simply refused to stay invisible, refused to accept their narrative that I was beneath them. Sometimes revenge isn't about destruction. Sometimes it's about revelation, about forcing people to see the truth they've been avoiding, about standing up and saying, "I exist, my children exist, and you don't get to pretend otherwise." The triplets are 2 years old now. They call Marcus Dada, and they love him. He's not perfect. Co-parenting with him has its challenges, but he's trying, really trying. And me? I'm no longer the abandoned, mocked ex-girlfriend. I'm Jessica Hammond, mother, business owner. My design company took off after the publicity, survivor, and the woman who reminded the Ashfords that you can't treat people as disposable just because they don't come from money. Every time I look at my 3 beautiful children, I'm reminded that the best revenge isn't always about tearing others down. Sometimes it's about building yourself and your family up, refusing to accept less than you deserve, and walking into the room that told you weren't welcome with your head held high. They called me to mock me. I arrived with the triplets and destroyed everything they thought they knew about power, class, and worth, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat.